highly sensitive people and the subconscious mind. If you're a highly sensitive person or you're dating someone who's highly sensitive, you should check out this video. I'll see you soon. So I get a lot of emails from people asking me for relationship advice if they're highly sensitive or in a relationship with highly sensitive people. And so because of all you guys, I'm designing my next course all around this subject. So stay tuned on that. But for now, I want to bring up the subject of the subconscious mind, because when we are highly sensitive, this is something I've dealt with my whole life, but as I've gotten older, I'm really kind of excited about how often this happens and how I now know how to deal with it. But before you know how to deal with this, it's a really tough thing. So when you're highly sensitive, you can literally tune into other people's unconscious. And you might not mean to. I certainly don't. But what happens, especially if you have a strong or close connection with someone, so this happens a lot in relationships, is you might feel like someone is lying to you. And what I've discovered is a lot of times people don't know they're lying because what you're feeling as truth is something they're not yet conscious of. I'll give you an example. If my husband were to tell me, yes, in 5 days I'm going to do this, and I can tap into something that he hasn't tapped into, and I can intuitively see that that's not going to happen in 5 days, I might say, what are you talking about? You're lying. We both know that's not going to happen in 5 days. And what I've learned by A, observing, and B, doing research is that a lot of times that person has no freaking clue that that's not really going to happen in 5 days because they really think they're going to figure it out. But the reality is they probably won't, and it doesn't happen. But it wasn't because they were lying. It was because you knew something energetically or unconsciously in them that was different than what was appearing. It was different than what was conscious. A lot of times people have things in their shadow that highly sensitive people can tap into and feel. And so when we're feeling somebody else's subconscious, or really what's in their unconscious, is it's coming to us in an emotion that doesn't feel good, doesn't feel like ours. It almost feels like over emotion, or a feeling, or an image, or signs, multiple signs, something that comes forward and says, hey, this needs to be made conscious. And I'm sorry, but if you're born highly sensitive, this is part of your purpose, is to help bring darkness or shadow into the light, to raise consciousness by raising your own and being really honest about what you experience in others around you. So if this happens in your relationship and you feel things that don't feel honest, don't jump to a conclusion that someone's lying. Instead, what I've learned to do is say, hey, I don't really feel like that is accurate. Can we discuss possibilities for maybe that not being true or not happening? And what that act alone, by bringing something up, you're bringing it to the light. What that does, by just acknowledging something that might be buried, is it allows yourself and others to get more conscious, to really wake up to something that we may not even know was there, didn't even know was a possibility. And it's kind of cool. And the more I've done this, the more I've been able to surrender any sort of attack or judgment or assumption, and instead remained open and seen that the possibilities that come up are far different than if I would have just said, that's what it is, this person's lying, that's not true, this feels weird. When you really bring these feelings and emotions to the light, it can completely shift a situation, a relationship, an issue you've constantly had in a relationship. And you might not find the answer right away, but what I've found is every time you do that, it opens up a new doorway. Every time you do that, it connects you in a different way. Every time you do that, you're surrendering to something higher. You're getting out of your way. And when we do that, multiple things start opening up. I was recently on vacation with a friend, and it was so funny because, hi baby, our theme for the weekend was let it go, because what happened since the beginning of the trip was things just kept getting in our way. We bought tickets for the wrong night, our flight was delayed, all these things were happening, and we both decided this is going to be spiritual retreat weekend, and we're just going to let that shit go. And every time something would come up and we wouldn't get upset about it or we wouldn't assume anything about it, we were practicing our skills of being conscious. All of a sudden we'd say, oh, well, this is what it is, therefore it must be meant to be, and it will work itself out. We will figure out another option. We will decide to do something different. But releasing control, releasing any kind of judgment on something, and really seeing that the universe does have your back. If you just remain open, even if things aren't what they seem or don't work out in the way that you think, what happens is something else will come up and show you another way. I promise it works. It's becoming conscious of something higher. It's becoming conscious of something that you might not see that's actually there. And it's aligning with something that's within you, this emotional guidance system, this inner guidance that is there for you when things appear to be different than you think they should be, or than you want them to be, or than they feel like they are. Just tune inward and things start moving in directions you could have never foreseen. So, back to the subject. If you're highly sensitive and you're tuning into things that aren't yet conscious, bring it to the light, talk about it, let it go, and see what's there underneath. You can do that with relationships, or you could do it when things just don't go your way, as I've just seen, and they end up being better than you could have imagined. So, I hope you like this video, and we'll see you guys soon. Namaste.